It is really getting interesting here in the crypto market, especially for Ripple, the company, and XRP as an asset in the XRP ledger. It's really getting hot. Things are actually improving so fast. The way you watch this is like central banks and the central bank digital currency era is here. We have been talking about this for like 2 years, and right now we watch that these are now rolling out. What does that really mean? Because when you actually say, yes, SEC is a barrier for the entire industry, now we are seeing that same SEC getting screwed over and over again, even including the Congress. They are now starting to fire shots at this particular guy openly, which is actually positive for the entire crypto market. But understand this, people are waking up to crypto. Right now we are watching big and giant guys in the asset management firms, in the wealth management industry, opening up crypto services, which means now institutions, family offices, all those guys are actually coming in. So if you're already in the market and you're watching that the prices are slowly grinding back up, these guys won't actually wait for a $50,000 Bitcoin to jump in. They would, however, jump in once they have the clarity in price action as well as the regulatory side. And for the regulations, you're watching, the world is already way far ahead than the US, which means most of them are about to buy into these asset class, and you're about to see the price of these assets getting exploded to the upside. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10 person in this crypto world. Right now, while we look at the price action, some of them are really confusing because it's actually a long wick to the upside in the last daily candle for XRP, especially showing a lot of volatility on that short-term horizon. But as we spoke last couple of days, it's really playing out, right? If you actually look at the price action, it does suggest you that it is making a pattern which suggests that the correction can be coming in, and usually that end up coming back to the original point. So here for XRP, that's going to be close to 0.45. But when you actually go look at Bitcoin on a weekly, it kind of gives you that idea we're bouncing off. But then you zoom in, you want to see what's happening right now. We ran up from 24,000 towards 31,000. So that was a significant run on the short-term scenario, and we would like to see where we are standing right now. And if you zoom into the price action like this and you're looking at the entire area, now you get to see that, okay, this particular range has been a resistance previously. We are right now about that particular range, which looks bullish because you just broke that range. However, you need to see this previous resistance is right now acting as another resistance here, which means right now it's not negative. Why? Because you had this trend line here which you actually broke to the upside, and when you note the point that that was a corrective pattern, a consolidative pattern after a bullish rally, this is a continuation pattern. And usually inside these continuation patterns, when it actually emerges, you need to keep this in mind that we do get these kind of consolidations. We do get these kind of volatility before we continue to the upside. And once you actually see the 1, the 2, and the 3 moves, now, yeah, most probably you may see a correction. But here, you have not yet watched those 3 legs. That means after a short-term correction, you're watching the price going higher. Most likely, that's going to get materialized here. Now, yeah, that's for Bitcoin. What about XRP? What about Ether? What about the altcoin side of things, right? That's what we're going to actually dive deep into. Now, while we look at XRP, the altcoin side of the crypto market, first I would say, like, okay, we have to actually look at dollar, what it is doing. Right now, it's actually trying to make a double bottom on a short-term horizon, of course. But that double bottom formation here, showing you the possibility of dollar breaking to the upside, means, yeah, the money is actually moving into dollars. That means XRP and the other assets, which are priced in dollars, should be a little bit slow. However, what's even more interesting is that the other side of this, the oil, the gold, that side is also working differently. Right now, oil is slowing down, gold is dropping. All those things are actually materializing, showing people are kind of moving away from the safe haven assets and trying to move on to some risk elements. Say if you actually take a look at the stock market, say for example, you're looking at NASDAQ and it's actually slowly picking up the pace. It's bouncing off the moving average. So here on a 4-hour, that's just 21-day moving average. However, when you go on a daily, then a weekly, you're watching a continuous price action, which is actually moving up. Now, the trend is to the upside, so you don't go bet against that trend. What's happening here is that it is testing this level of resistance. Now, what does that mean? People are actually taking on some more risk because they do understand that the market is showing you opportunities. And one of the most important thing to understand right now, I would say, when central banks are actually going up and up and up again with their rates, it doesn't actually look really good. Now, what do I mean by that? Today, I just saw this and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. UK went ahead and increased 50 basis points again, and that's the 13th hike. Remember, guys, 13th hike, this is not normal. What they're trying to do is just to collapse the value of your assets. So you feel poorer, so you don't buy anything, you cut down your coffee, your clothing, whatever you do now, and the inflation go back down. So that's their normal way of operating. Now, you look at Switzerland, they're doing 25 basis points again. Norway, another 50 basis points, and that's 11th rate hike this year. Now, Turkey, that's a 650 basis point hike. Wow. That's huge, right? Now, if you look at US, most likely they're going to come up with another 2. So what this shows you is you need to look at proper opportunities in the market and get positioned as much as possible. Because if you are staying in fiat, the longer you stay there, the harder you're going to get hit. Because if you're in the physical assets, which cannot be duplicated, you don't lose your purchasing power. You still get on, and the asset values, they go up over time. Say, what do I mean by that? Even if you are an XRP and you're looking at the price action right now, in last 2 years, it may really feel like the prices are only going down. However, if you actually take a step back, zoom out, this is what you're literally looking at. This has been the trend line for XRP from a very long point of time. So you can reduce the volatility, use a line chart. Even that would actually show you something same, right? This is the bottom, this is the bottom. You're just extending that and you're here. That doesn't actually show you a lot of downside, but rather it shows you a lot of upside. Basically, that's what I'm watching here. Once you reach these trend lines, you actually bounce, and that bounce happens to be with higher volatility, higher momentum. And that's where, your purchasing power comes back in with a little bit of revenge. So now, yeah, it is getting whooped by the market for sure, because the entire market has been slow. Now, on the weekly side of things, we do have to keep in mind this can be a reversal signal. You actually got rejected. You're coming back down to the moving average, but right now the price is slowing down. But most likely what I think is going to happen in the next 3 to 4 weeks is a big possibility of another couple of candles, weekly candles going up, bursting higher. That's going to be a really great scenario. However, keep this in mind. While you actually look at all this, you do have to understand the fact that, yeah, that's a weekly scenario which we are discussing. And on the short-term horizon, you may actually get something volatile, right? On a daily, on a 4-hour chart, you may literally see the price action slowing down, correcting down. Now, we actually talked about the possibility that we may actually come back down, hit these supports, and most likely that's going to create buying opportunity in the market. Just like what we saw in dollar, XRP can actually come down. It can actually create a double bottom scenario, which would signal a lot more buying coming into the market, right? Now, what about the entire altcoin side of things? We'll actually look at Ether too, but right now, I'd say, like, okay, let's actually look at the altcoin side of things and say, like, okay, are we moving about this? If so, that's positive. But right now, we have not yet managed to break through this particular channel resistance. Now that happens to be the resistance of the channel, which is starting all the way from April, whereas this horizontal level, it's valid from May. So we are watching May, June, that's staying relevant, and this has been relevant from some time. So even if you actually reduce the volatility, go on a line chart, you still see somewhat same level of resistance coming into the picture. So as long as you're below that particular level, I would say, okay, for altcoins, that means a lot of altcoins are slow. Few are trying to move up with Bitcoin, but we actually saw a lot of meme coins, bursting recently. But make sure you understand which of these coins are actually breaking higher, because if not, then you may actually get trapped for sure. You may actually literally get trapped into a lot of these buying positions where these literally can trap you into a range where, you really don't want to be in current market situation. Now, so if you actually look at XRP on our 4-hour chart, which is actually a zoomed in kind of view, we are literally watching to see whether we are having the momentum to the upside or to the downside. So fairly, it's easiest way to use a Heikin-Ashi chart to see where we are going, right? So that's on a 4-hour chart. Now, if you're on a daily, one of the best thing to do is to go look at Franco chart. And when Franco chart is showing you the upside, I would say I would stick with Franco. But the only issue here using a Franco chart is that it's not time sensitive. It's actually price sensitive, which means you may have to wait for a long period of time. Once you do wait, now you have opportunity. You may actually get to see price climbing higher, because once you actually notice the fact that it climbs down, it comes back down, then it makes something green, that's positive. You're literally waiting, you're above the moving average, and now you are starting to turn bullish. Why? If you actually go back in history to see what happened here, did that happen before in our past? Yeah, I would say so, because that's something we have seen over here. You move above the moving average, now you return to the moving average even after getting a green candle, and then you start running back up. Now you do get intermediate corrections coming back to the moving average, test that range, and then go back up. But the point is, reversal is already here. So Franco is not time sensitive, so this is maybe taking like next 2 to 3 weeks to show you where the next candle actually forms. But keep this in mind, the next candle is, if that's forming, it's going to be from 0.51 towards 0.54. So that for XRP on a daily is significant. Now, yeah, you can literally go on a weekly and say like, yeah, we've been to the downside. We've actually seen what the price can do when it goes to the downside. But right now it's showing I'm going to print the next candle to the upside, and the upside here is close towards 0.54, and that's a weekly candle. That does sound bullish to me. Now, yes, you can literally say, okay, that's on a weekly chart. What should I be looking on an hourly? On an hourly, I would say go use a Heikin-Ashi and look where we are. If we are below the moving average, and if the moving average is pointing you to the downside and you are red, that may not be the right time to buy. Right? You literally, when you cross to the upside, that is the bullish way to buy, because afterwards you continue, you retest, and you bounce off. When you're coming back up, that usually happens. So you get to position a little bit better than most others in the market. Now you go do the same on a 4-hour, you get placed a little bit more than that. Now here it suggests like, I'm on a red candle, most likely I can break to the downside. That creates some risk. What is that? This is your trend line. If you actually break this trend line, that means you're dropping below that. You don't want to buy in at that particular time, right? That's the level of correction which we have been talking. Now, if you actually look at the daily, this is what we are watching. Right now, the daily candle, it's starting to turn red, which means next 3 or 4 days, we may actually come back down to 0.45. And if that's the case, buying today or, right now, that may not be the best thing to do. You can get better prices if you are looking to average down, if you are looking to enter the market. One of the biggest possibility here is going to be a long wick to the downside, which makes a double bottom and then goes higher. Now, we don't have a crystal ball for sure. We are trying to anticipate what's happening in the market. We're trying to look at the market and learn from the market and say, most likely this is coming back in. If you actually look back in history, we have actually seen these kind of moves coming in XRP. You do get correction in between and then you climb back up. Now here you actually consolidated, created that trend, and then you went up. So corrections will be a part of this journey for sure. So if you think like, okay, that's like the macro perspective, that's what the entire altcoin market is doing, and this is precisely what the XRP as an asset is doing, and you would like to look for more assets, then I would suggest you can look at the Patreon. That's where I post almost every assets which you have in your portfolio to see what they are doing on the short term, medium term, the divergence is forming, whether they are opportunity right now or they're showing you some red flags. So guys, if you received value, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.